Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan, and today we're going to be talking about another Goosebumps book. This is a newer Goosebumps book, sort of newer. Came out about 10 years ago. This is Goosebumps HorrorLand. It's the only special edition from the HorrorLand, by the way. That particular era of Goosebumps back in like 2008 or 9 or 10, somewhere in there. This is called Weirdo Halloween. It's number 16, of course written by R.L. Stine. This cover's weird. It's one of the big reasons why I never wanted to pick this up when I was in the store, and I never did pick it up until about a month or so ago. I finally got it because of a friend's recommendation down in the comments section. And I'm mostly glad that I read the book, but I didn't love it. I really don't even know if I could say that I enjoyed the book. I think a chunk of it I did. This was a weird one. This was a really, really weird one. Pun not intended, because of the title being called Weirdo Halloween. You may wonder why it's taken me so long to read the book. It's about 215 pages long, which is almost double the length of a Goosebumps book, typically being about 100 or 130 pages long. And I just couldn't get into this that much. I don't know what it is. That's why I've been doing so many other types of videos, like the things like Goosebumps segments I do on my channel, and the update, excitement, celebration video about the 100 subscribers, which, again, thank you guys for that. But this particular book, I just didn't love. I don't know what it is. I kind of expected to. There are portions of it that I absolutely adore, that I think are really, really good. It has a lot of E.T. in its blood, you know? The movie E.T. by Spielberg. Essentially, there's a brother and sister. They go to HorrorLand, of course, the big amusement park. It's kind of like Disneyland for Goosebumps. And they end up finding their way into a woman named Madame Doom, who gives them, essentially, an advertisement after a while, which I won't spoil the whole thing involving Madame Doom. It's kind of creepy. She gives them a ticket that kind of gives them an advertisement to go to this place called Chiller House. It's run by a guy named Jonathan Chiller, which, if you're familiar with the HorrorLand series, you probably know a little bit about Jonathan Chiller. Excuse me, I keep trying to say Thriller, like the Michael Jackson song. It gets to the point where once they return home from their little vacation to HorrorLand, they also got this little toy frog thing, at least the main character that's a girl did. And they happen to, like right before Halloween, they're walking over to a Halloween party. They're dressed up in their costumes and everything. And they come across what looks like a baby, an orange-skinned baby with little tiny raisin-like eyes. And he's, for whatever reason, stuck inside of a hedge, like a bush. And they pull him out, and he thinks that they saved him. And apparently whatever this thing is, it's some kind of creature, some kind of alien-like being, and its name is Bim. B-I-M. And Bim, again, very much is like an evil version of E.T., the extraterrestrial from the Spielberg film. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Bim is kind of dumb. Like, he's kind of just a broken English-speaking alien thing that has anger issues. And he always talks about his feelings. He's always like, my feeling is happy, which means he's in a good mood. Means that everything is going well. This is almost a psychological book focusing on how to raise children. Almost. It's really weird how it goes about that. It's constantly hitting on this idea of not giving something like Bim that's more childlike its way all the time. Because if you do that, it's going to keep encouraging bad behavior. Kind of surprised me that we went that deep psychologically with a Goosebumps book for babies, you know? It was a weird book. It was a really weird book. It wasn't my favorite of the Halloween books I've read. I much, much, much more prefer Most Wanted's book, Zombie Halloween, which I think is fantastic for the most part. The Haunted Mask books, I love way more than this. I think that this book only has so much to offer. It's not spectacular. Again, it took me like a whole 7 or 8 days to read the book because I just got bored. I wanted to read other things, or not read other things, but like watch other things. Like, I've been rewatching the Saw films because I just didn't feel like reading right now, even though I've been trying to get as much book reviews out as I can during September before we get into the October Halloween time month, and I can review more of the Halloween-based books. But this one just didn't do it for me. It doesn't feel all the time like a Halloween story. It kind of does in the later half, but we'll get there in a minute. But the brother and sister's irritation with this kind of deadly creature, Bim, and I don't want to really spoil why Bim is kind of dangerous, But if you've read the book, you know why. He actually is kind of a threat. As annoying as he could possibly be, he's kind of a threat. He's like scary E.T., you know? But this is the thing. I didn't expect this, but half the book is focused on that plot. I thought, since the book is like 216 pages and it's a special edition, a lot of Goosebumps special editions, especially in the Most Wanted era, are longer books, like 170-page books. So an extra 40 or 50 pages typically tagged onto a book. Later on, like I said, for the Most Wanted series, like that came out around 2013 or so. So I kind of assume that's what this would be. This is more in the vein with Goosebumps Wanted, The Haunted Mask, where the first half of the book is kind of its own story, and the second half of the book has the same characters, but kind of its own story too. It's kind of like two Goosebumps stories involving the same character in one. Imagine taking Deep Trouble 1 and 2 and putting them into one book, right? That's kind of what this feels like in a lot of weird ways. And they're fine stories. They're okay. They're not bad at all. I just don't love them. They're not my favorite things I've ever read. The second story actually takes place more with the main character, the girl, actually in Horrorland. She ends up somehow getting teleported back there to Jonathan Chiller's house, Chiller House, the little store that he has in the midst of Horrorland, the amusement park. And she has to prove that she is actually herself. And that story can get weird and kind of creepy and kind of bizarre, but not really engaging. You know, that's one of the things. I don't know what it was with this book. I just didn't love it. I don't know what it is. I don't really know how to explain it. I guess if you've read it, maybe you can tell me if you feel the same way I do, or if you don't. That's fine too. I would love to hear your thoughts on my review down in the comment section down below. I just didn't adore this book. I think it has some really weird, crazy, weird stuff, and especially Bim. The little characteristics about Bim as a creature are interesting, but also annoying, you know? One of my favorite aspects of Bim is that if he eats a meal, he has to throw it up 3 times before he can properly digest it, which means he has to re-eat it like 3 different times. And there are some scenes in this book, by the way, that the friend that recommended this in the comments section actually warned me about, saying that it was probably one of the more disgusting Goosebumps books. And I'm going to be honest with you, it pretty much was. There's some pretty horrific stuff, like what I just talked about, but some other things that are kind of gorier. This is around that area of Goosebumps where we start talking more about gore and blood. And that's not common in Goosebumps, and it was kind of surprising here when those happened too. They're pretty horrific. Even the back rubbing scenes for Bim, because Bim loves back rubs. His species are just obsessed with that. That's a really gross sequence too. Just Bim is a disgusting character in general. But I had a decent time reading these. These are fine 2 stories collected in one book. Just don't expect some great thing that's going to knock your socks off. I wouldn't expect that, because this is not that by any means. What did you think about Weirdo Halloween? Put your thoughts and comments down in the comment section down below, guys. I'd love to hear what you have to say. What do you think about my review? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to hear all that down below as well. And was this your favorite Halloween book from Goosebumps or from R.L. Stine? I would love to know that, especially down below, because he's written a lot of different stuff, whether it be in the Goosebumps franchise or the Fear Street or Point Horror, any of those things. He's written so many Halloween books, it's insane. But yeah, this is okay. This is not my favorite thing I've read. If I had to rate Weirdo Halloween on a 5-star basis, I would probably give this about a 3 out of 5. And it's kind of a higher 3 out of 5, but also, again, this is about the most average book I've read from Goosebumps. Yeah, it's got some cool stuff here and there, but it really wasn't that special in my opinion. I'm kind of surprised by how much I didn't adore and cherish this book as much as I typically love the special edition books. Special edition books of any of the Goosebumps franchise are typically very exciting, very good reads. Goosebumps Wanted, Haunted Mask is pretty much my favorite Goosebumps book right now. I would consider that a special edition because it's about 240 pages long. But still, this book really surprised me the way it went. But even so, guys, what are your thoughts? Put them down below. Thank you for watching, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today. I hope to get some more reviews out to you sometime soon. But again, this one took a lot out of me, man. I might need a couple of days to recoup because I've been struggling trying to get through this book. And I know it probably sounds unreasonable because this book is so short. It's not like I'm reading Stephen King's It or something like that. Nightmares and Dreamscapes. It's not like it's like that. It's just obnoxious. Like, this book has so much happening, but at the same time, it's not interesting most of the time. So, I don't know. I didn't love the book. I feel guilty about saying that, if that makes sense. I haven't felt this way about a Goosebumps book in a very long time. At least it's not a horrible mess like A Nightmare on Clown Street, where it just completely changes on the third act of the story. At least it's not like that. It's just I don't love the book. But anyway, thank you guys, especially the friend who recommended this down in the comments in one of the other videos that I've had. I've been talking to that person for a while about reading this at some point, so I hope that they're pleased with their video. But probably not with the rating. Anyway, what are your guys' thoughts? Thank you so much. God bless you, and goodbye.